Picture this, a 9-year-old boy in a temple, hand placed on a sacrificial altar, making a solemn promise to his father. This wasn't just any promise, it was a blood oath, a vow of eternal hatred for his family's greatest enemy, Rome. That boy was Hannibal Barca, and his oath would set the ancient world on fire. Hannibal grew up in the shadow of Carthage's defeat in the First Punic War. His father, Hannibal Barca, a legendary general, instilled in him a burning desire for revenge. When Hannibal eventually took command of the Carthaginian army in Spain, he didn't just wait for Rome to come to him. He decided to do the unthinkable. He would take the war to their doorstep. In 218 BC, Hannibal embarked on one of the most audacious military campaigns in history. He gathered an army of nearly 100,000 men and, most famously, a contingent of war elephants. His target, Italy. His route, straight over the treacherous snow-covered Alps. Roman commanders scoffed at the idea. It was impossible, suicidal even. But Hannibal was a master of the unexpected. He battled hostile tribes, freezing temperatures, and treacherous terrain. The journey was brutal. He lost almost half his army and most of his elephants, but he emerged on the other side, in Italy, a specter Rome thought they'd never see. For the next 15 years, Hannibal terrorized the Italian peninsula. He was a strategic genius, outmaneuvering and outsmarting every Roman general sent to stop him. He won victory after victory at the Trebia River and Lake Trasimene, drawing more and more Italian allies to his cause. But his masterpiece was yet to come. In 216 BC, at a small village called Cannae, Hannibal faced a Roman army almost double his size. The Romans were confident, ready to crush the Carthaginian nuisance once and for all. They charged headfirst into what they thought was a weak Carthaginian center, but it was a trap. Hannibal had designed his formation to bend, not break. As the Romans pushed deeper, Hannibal's elite cavalry, positioned on the wings, swept around and slammed into the Roman rear. The massive Roman legion was completely encircled. What followed was one of the bloodiest single days in military history. The Battle of Cannae was a masterclass in tactical encirclement, a maneuver still studied in military academies today. Hannibal inflicted catastrophic losses on the Romans, a psychological blow from which they almost didn't recover. Rome was in a state of sheer panic, so why didn't he march on Rome itself? Historians have debated this for centuries. Perhaps his army was too battered, or he lacked the heavy siege equipment needed to take the city. Whatever the reason, this decision allowed Rome to regroup. They adopted a new strategy, the Fabian strategy, named after Fabius Maximus. No more open battles. They would harass, shadow, and wear down Hannibal's army, cutting off his supply lines. Slowly, the tide began to turn. A new Roman general, Scipio, later known as Scipio Africanus, had learned from Hannibal's own playbook. Scipio took the fight to Carthage's home turf in North Africa, forcing Hannibal to finally leave Italy and return to defend his homeland. The two legendary generals finally met at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC this time. It was Scipio who outmaneuvered Hannibal. He found a way to neutralize the war elephants and used Hannibal's own cavalry tactics against him. Hannibal tasted defeat for the first time in a major battle. Carthage was forced to surrender, ending the Second Punic War. Even in defeat, Hannibal's story wasn't over. He became a statesman in Carthage, trying to reform the corrupt government, but his old enemies conspired against him. Hunted by the Romans, he lived the rest of his life in exile, serving foreign kings as a military advisor. But Rome never forgave and never forgot. When they finally cornered him in his villa, the old general, now in his 60s and unwilling to be captured, took poison. His final words were said to be, "Let us relieve the Romans of their anxiety, since they cannot wait for the death of an old man." Hannibal Barca was more than just a great general. He was a symbol of defiance, a brilliant mind who challenged the greatest empire of his time and nearly brought it to its knees. His audacious march across the Alps and his tactical brilliance at Cannae are legends that have echoed through millennia, forever cementing his place as one of history's most fascinating and formidable figures. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more epic stories from history. See you next time.